Hey everybody, Joe McCall here. I'm at Starbucks. If you can hear the noise, please excuse me there. But I just wanted to, I got a real good question here from a guy named David, and about 8 or 9 questions, and I thought it'd be good to just put this in a video response. I love getting questions from you guys. Feel free to send them to me anytime, but sometimes it's easier just to reply with these questions by video, and that way I can also distribute them out to everybody else too. But one of the things he asks here is, by the way, I wanted to tell you, see this hat here? It's my former employer. Sometimes I wear these hats just to kind of remind me where I came from, and I really enjoy the freedom I have right now. I'm working from Starbucks pretty much anytime I want, and get to work whenever and wherever I want. So anyway, he asks here, how many lease option deals do I do a month? Keep in mind, I do a lot of coaching, teaching, developing new products and things like that. You know, this webinar we're doing right now with Claude Diamond, a lot of work goes into that. But still, I'm doing about 10 hours a week flipping lease options, and I do an average of 2 to 3 a month, depending on the season. Things are really slow in November through January. Things start really picking up in the spring and in the summer. So typically, just working 10, sometimes 20 hours a week flipping deals, I'm doing about 2 to 3 a month. Average profit on each is 3 to 5, maybe 6,000. We're doing one actually. We're closing on this today or tomorrow. That's going to be $6,000. The other question here is, does your course show a step-by-step system on how to do deals? Yes, it does. It sure does. I was very intentional with that when I was designing the course. Did a lot of step-by-step. 1, 2, 3, look over my shoulder as I do these deals from beginning to end. And in fact, I have about a 30-minute video where I just walk through a whole deal on how I find it, how I contact the seller from beginning to end. And it was helpful to have that. Sorry, my phone keeps on ringing. Hold on. So yeah, I give a lot of step-by-step how to do a deal from beginning to end. The other question is, how long have you been investing in real estate and lease options? Well, I've been investing part-time in real estate for at least 5 to 6 years. Lease options, specifically flipping lease options, for the last 2 years. 2.5. It was about 3 years ago when I started doing it, and then took several months to learn the right way to do it. And once I started getting systems in place, outsourcing my marketing and all of that, it took me about 3 months for my part-time income flipping lease options to replace my full-time income. Not at this employer. This was my employer before my last employer, but the one after this, I was making good money, and just flipping these lease options part-time allowed me to leave my job, and that was a great day. Anyway, the other question is here: is this still a viable market to do these kinds of deals? Yes, it is. What if it's a seller market? Is it still good then? Very simple answer to that. Any market is good for these kinds of deals. There's always going to be motivated sellers who can't sell, buyers who can't buy, and all you need to do is just find them. There's lots of them. It's working really, really especially well in this market right now, flipping lease options. So, just got another text here. But anyway, it's great. If it's a seller's market, doesn't matter. Now, sometimes there's other strategies. If you're wholesaling, works in any market, and right now when the market's kind of down, I prefer to wholesale properties to tenant buyers. But you can still do that when the market is red hot, but you might find it easier to wholesale to investor, cash buyers instead. And that's something I teach my students how to do, the wholesaling lease options and traditional wholesaling too. How many deals did I do in the first 90 days? Just trying to get an idea of someone doing these deals that is successful. It all depends. It depends on when your 90 days starts. If your 90 days starts in November, December, January are your 3 slowest months of the year, so you may not do very well if you start then. And it depends on how much marketing you're doing. Honestly, that's really all it comes down to. You could start this business in November, December, and still do really well. You're going to have to just do more marketing to find more sellers and to find more buyers. So I have students right now that are doing deals in their first couple weeks. I have students that take them several months to get their first deal. Again, it all depends on how quick you are to implement what we teach you how to do in this system. I have some students, they see all these steps and they feel like they have to understand steps 1 through 9 before they do steps 1 and 2. If you just start doing steps 1 and 2, getting the marketing out the door, calling sellers, talking to sellers, you're going to get to those deals faster. It's all about marketing. It's a complete numbers game. The more marketing you can do, the more sellers you can get to call you, the more deals you're going to do. So if you were to take me and drop me into another city, how many deals could I do in the first 90 days if I were to start from scratch? I'd probably do 1 or 2 the first month and maybe 4 or 5 the next 2 or 3 months. Just depends. So for me, since I've been doing this a long time and I know what to do, I could probably do 5 to 7 deals in the first 90 days. Again, depending on the time of the year. But it's so hard to make promises. I can't guarantee anything. It depends on the market that you're in. It depends on the price range. It depends on how much marketing. It depends on how good you are on the phone. And that's why I keep on telling people to get on this Guts webinar that we're doing with Claude Diamond, because we talk about how to talk to sellers. So like Claude says, you've got to know how to give good phone. So that's a whole nother topic. The other question here is this a time-consuming business? I don't think so. I knew when I was working my full-time job, I had to have the systems in place to do these deals, because if I relied on myself to do the marketing, it would just never get done. So I developed the systems and then outsourced them. There's the 3 three keys to success: marketing, automation, and delegation. So if you can get those 3 things down: marketing, automating your business, and delegating it to somebody else, the sky's the limit. You could just do marketing in your city, you could do it in your state, you could do it in surrounding states, you can do it in the entire United States if you really wanted to do it. So is it a time-consuming business? Yes and no. I mean, I know guys like me who are doing this same business but spending 50, 60 hours a week because they love it. And so they don't have any problems doing that, and they're doing really, really well. And I have friends that are just doing it part-time like me and still doing okay. So it just depends on what you want to do. I know compared to other types of investing, it's not as time-consuming to get each deal. Can you kind of describe, he says here, a typical day in the lease option business? A typical day for me is come to Starbucks, catch up on email, try to get some things done. I work from home. I have an office in my house. Sometimes it's hard to get work done at home. So I come to Starbucks. There's 2 or 3 different Starbucks I go to. I like variety. And just kind of get some work done with my computer. I have a MacBook Pro. I love it. And so a typical day for me, I work on, I have a bunch of systems and VAs that do all my marketing for sellers and buyers. So one of the first things I do is make sure that the marketing's going out, that the things that are supposed to get done are getting done. I got a great sales rep right now who she only calls me if there's problems, and so I hardly ever talk to her. So my average day is sometimes just putting out fires, and so honestly, and I put about, again, 10 hours a week into the deals, doing deals, and I spend another 30 to 40 hours a week teaching and coaching, coming up with new products, answering people's questions, doing videos like this. I love it. I get to do whatever I want. Nights and weekends, I don't typically work nights and weekends, although I do actually. Because sometimes I just love what I'm doing, and I get, especially when I'm doing things like right now with this webinar with Claude Diamond. So I am working some nights for that. But typically, if you are just doing deals, which most of my students are concerned about, right, you may have to work some nights and weekends because that's when sellers are available. But typically, I only talk to sellers during the day, during business hours. Do I have to meet every seller and buyer? No. In fact, I hardly ever meet the seller, and I have a sales rep who does all of my work with the buyers. You should be able to close most of these deals over the phone. You can maybe close more if you decide to go meet with the seller. It just depends on what your strategy is going to be, what you want, what you're trying to do. What's your average option down payment as far as a percentage and dollar-wise? 3 to 5%. My typical option down payment I get is about 2 to 3%, sometimes more. Sometimes I'll take just a little bit less if I get payments over time to make up the difference, usually over the next 6 months. So if my minimum option down payment is 5, if I find somebody that only has 3 or 4, I'll possibly take payments for the rest, but it has to be all done within the next 6 months. And I want at least 2 or 3 different funding sources, a credit card and a bank account, and PayPal account if I can get that. Do I have any monthly spread, or do I just assign the option? I don't normally do monthly spreads except when I take notes. but usually I just assign the option to somebody else. Is there any other income streams involved in my business plan? If you're looking at just the business sides of the deal, no. I don't get any referrals from credit repair or mortgage companies. But when you're looking at teaching and coaching, yeah, I get income from my other business income streams from that. How much is my coaching program is the last question. Great question, and I don't have an answer for that. I don't have a pricing sheet for my coaching program. It just really depends on what you're looking for, what you're hoping to get out of it, and what you think it's worth to you. One of the things that I've learned from Claude, and I'm going to start doing now, is when people start asking me about my coaching program, I'm just going to ask them, well, what do you think is fair? What do you think it's worth? What is it worth to you? If you want to make $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 a year, how much is that worth to you? So it's real flexible. I'm real flexible with that. I can take payments for coaching, but it has to be worth my time, because I do put a lot of one-on-one time and attention with my students. I take it very seriously, and so I'm just going to start asking people, what do you think is fair? And then work it out from there. And it all depends on what you want. If you may not want me to do all of this stuff for you. You may not want my VAs to do your marketing for you. You may just want somebody that you can call anytime you have a question. You may just want somebody that you can partner with on deals, and I'm fine with that. So it's done on a case-by-case basis. And I hope that helps. All right? See ya, guys.